Hey folks, this is Brian. GenCon 2020, day 3. I have a whole series of audiobooks on my phone that I listen to through the Navy MWR online library. I download and put them into iTunes. That way I can actually listen to generally double speed, because when they are talking on an audiobook, it is often fairly slow. So sometimes it can be a little difficult to understand, but generally once your ear gets used to it, I can rip through a 12-hour book in 6 hours. I had come down to the end of my playlist, and so this is Saturday morning. So Saturday morning, I remembered having games at 2 and at 7. The ones at 2 are demos for Pendragon, and the one at 7 is an actual adventure with Pendragon. And so I'm just laying on the bed, downloading books onto my laptop and into my phone, and because I'm going through a new playlist. So I dumped all the old stuff and putting new stuff in. And for some reason, I start looking at my GenCon app, and I see that my game starts. My first games, my demos, start at 9, not at 2, and it's 8:57. So I jump up. I text Bob really quick because I know Bob was acting as a stand-in GM, just in case kind of stuff. That hey, I'm on my way. Rip off my clothes, throw on some stuff I can go out of town with, and grab my bag with my game stuff in it. Just really quickly, because I had my box prepped up for what I needed for the day. Threw it in there, threw other stuff out, and just started booking. I try not to run on the streets with a backpack banging on you, right? But I trucked up in the corner, walking down the blocks. Every time I ran across the street, I ran across the street, and I finally got there at a quarter after. And Bob was just walking in to take over my game for me. So I apologize to everybody. Sorry, guys. So I was a bit raggled. And as we're running this game, I was going over the opposed rolls, which is what combat is, opposed roll. You both roll against your skill, and there's levels of success, and the higher number wins, that kind of stuff. And the players were outnumbered by the bad guys. And they get ambushed by bandits. So bandits have got bows; they're shooting at them. So that's an unopposed roll. Just roll, do you make your skill or not? And if you do, then you do damage. There is an actual rule that if you've got a shield, you can use it to decrease the archer's success chance, lowering his target number, right? And I did mention this in Day 0, Day 1, that in Pendragon, it's the Price is Right mechanic, where if you hit your target number exactly as a critical success, and below that number is a success, with the higher number being more successful. But these are unopposed rolls. They just have the target number, but the target number gets modified by 5 because of the shield. I did not remember that rule at that time, because that rule is explained better in the adventure setup for the Adventure of the King's Gambit, where they actually put in the rules that apply as you're going through it. And with the intro scenario, it just didn't. So I had to make an unopposed dex roll to see if they were able to impose the shield, and then the shield would suck up 6 of the points, kind of things, how I handled it at the time. But armors, there was a lot of damage, and bows only do 3d6. I mean, armor's absorbing, these guys were in half plate, I think. So they're like 14, 15 points of damage they're sucking up. And, bows do 3d6. So odds are you're not going to get through the armor, and if you do, it's just a couple points. So archers get, their ambush out, and then, the player knights charge lances and make mincemeat of these bandits. So they put the bandits down in good order. One is unconscious, the rest are all killed. So the unconscious one comes around and tells them, he knows where the Oh, they're all on a quest. Spoilers! They've had a dream about a pitch black tower with a red moon symbol on it, and a lady being held captive that needs their help. And so they are heading north, and they come up on the same rope together, and they, hey, I have this dream. Well, I have this dream too. Let's go together. And that's how they all party together. So we did this little round table on who everybody was. But the bandit says, hey, I know where the tower is, and if you let me live, I'll show you where the tower. So he takes him to the tower. When they get to the tower, they're pitch black in the middle of forest kind of thing, and there's that glowing red moon symbol, and it glows really bright. And they hear a voice in their heads. It says, I forget the exact verbiage, but it's essentially, enter the tower and test your knighthood kind of thing. And there's actually a mechanic on their valorous, if they're going to actually enter the tower or not. So they make valorous rolls. Somebody missed, so they had to convince him to come in. So it's again a trait against a trait, opposing rolls mechanic to convince them to come in. They all do go in. The room is the first level of the tower is one single room with a table in the center, and there are 5. There are 5 players. There are 5 chairs at the table. And are you going to sit in it? That kind of thing. And then there's this trusting versus suspicious, because all the traits are opposed, right? There's like 12 or 13 of these traits. They all have an opposed value. It adds up to 20. So if you're 15 in one, you're 5 in the other kind of thing. And certain ones are marked as being chivalrous. So if all of those get added up to 80 or more, then you get the chivalric bonus, which gives a +3 armor to the character. And then there are religious traits based upon what religion you are. Pagan, Christian, British or Roman Christian. There's pagan, and I think there was another one. But if all of those religious traits are at 15 or more, maybe 16 or more, because 16 is kind of a magic number on that being notable, and you get glory for that every year by having a notable trait. Then if all of those are at 16 or more, then you get this religious bonus. And the only one I remember offhand is a pagan, which gets a +1d6 damage. Okay, so that's kind of stuff we're doing these traits. Traits is a major mechanical portion of Pendragon. The other is skills. And this demo is designed to show this kind of trait interaction, how you can use it and how it can be used against you kind of thing. So they make their trusting rolls, they sit down, they all hear in their voice about there's a potion underneath the table, drink it and come and save me kind of thing. And again, there's this trusting versus suspicious mechanic on are you going to drink it or not. And then once that's done, again, if somebody doesn't drink, when you drink it, you can see the stairs. There's stairs in the back from the side. There are stairs in the back of the tower go up, but it's the roof. There's no opening. There's no doorway. So you don't see it. But if you drink the potion, then you can see it, and you can go through it. So they convince each other to drink. Everybody, they convince the ones who don't want to drink to drink. And on this choice thing, right? If you made your trusting, then you trust you're going to do it. If you miss your trusting, you roll against your suspicious. If you miss your suspicious, then you're pretty much free to choose what you want to do. If you make your suspicious, then you're going to be suspicious. That's how that mechanic works. So once you drink, you can see it, you can go on up. So they all drink it, they see it. So they start going up the stairs, and then there's this, okay, who's going to go up first kind of thing? Are we going to race up? That kind of stuff. And it's a energetic roll to do that kind of thing. And there's a little race as he gets to the top of the stairs first. And then they come to the next level of the tower. Next level of the tower is, again, one big room. In the center of it is a stone slab. And on this slab is, this beautiful woman. She's laying there. There are satin sheets and a pillow thing, but still it's on a slab of stone, right? So not very comfortable, but she is not moving. She's unconscious. Must be magical. And they hear in their head, let the most chaste knight kiss me, wake me from my slumber, and rescue me from the tower, kind of thing. So then there's a competition again between all the characters, or players really, because in Pendragon all the character stats are physical. The mental stats are the player, what's upstairs. So sorry about that. So there's kind of okay, who's the most chaste? Do we actually roll against chaste? That kind of thing. Are you willing to do it? That kind of stuff. And there's like a batting order, if you will, of 3 guys that we're going to do the kiss her on the cheek thing. And the first guy I think did it. So he kisses her on the cheek. She wakens from her magical slumber and says, "Quick, we must flee! We must flee!" And down out the stairs, out the front door, and there are these 5 evil knights there. She goes, "Oh no, these ones who captured me, save me, protect me!" And so combat ensues again. So we had 2 rounds of combat, 2 sessions of combat. This time the players are on the ground, the knights are mounted. I had them use the couch lance on the first scenario. On the second one I didn't, because their sword skill is better, and you only get to do the lance thing once, and then things get complicated. Changing weapons takes time, and you can get attacked and that kind of stuff. So they charge. The mounted knights get a +5 to attack the knights on the ground. The knights on the ground have a -5 to attack the knights on the horse. It's one of those height difference things. And the charge attack with the lances pretty much did the knights in. Some of the knights tried to impassion themselves, and I gave them +5 for a success, +10 for a critical success. But in the where'd it go? I must have put it up. In the 6th edition quick start scenario, it talks about some of the basic rules and like that. So for the 6th edition, which we'll be doing from now on, because it's supposed to come out this year, it's +10 for a regular success on a passion roll, right? To be impassioned. And it's like double your skill for critical or something like that, something massive. Anyway, I was doing +5, +10, so they impassion themselves, and if they're going to impassion, that's actually they were 19 +5, so they're rolling 24. So they didn't, but yeah, that was the axe. So they had to change weapons, and there's some combat going on. The evil knights ended up winning. The next session right after that was again this demo, Dream of a Tower. This time we had 6 players. It actually was interesting because one of the players from the previous game had purchased both games, and he was going to stay for it, but he offered up his badge to pay for the next game for somebody who didn't able to get a game or wanted to play but didn't have a ticket, that kind of thing. And so sure enough, there was a guy who wanted to use the paper ticket things to pay for the game. But hey, don't worry about it. It's already paid for. Good to go. Because we do electronic scanning, and that's the Chaosium thing. Hey, we just do electronic scanning. So next session, I've got 6 players. These guys were a little more involved, a little more play, and that kind of stuff. It was a funner game. Again, same thing. They all have the dream. They're trampling through the woods. They get ambushed by the archers. Now I've gone through. In the first game, because I was so rattled about getting there late and stuff, that I was having trouble comprehending the opposed rolls for combat, and I know we were doing it wrong during the bandit fight. But when we started doing the knights, the evil knights, I pull up the rules again. I talk through them, and we all discuss things, and then all of a sudden, bing! I went on. That's right. This is how it really works. What a mess. But anyway, so for the second session, I knew how it worked, and we did, and it worked well. So I set up the scenario, the ground, that the archers are back far enough that the knights can charge, and then they do the second charge, the bandits have a chance to have time to change weapons. So they get arrows out, ping, 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 ping. Knights charge in, second round, bandits change weapons, knights charge in, they take down a couple. The bandits have got great spears, so they don't have the -5 to attack horsemen because they got the reach with the spear. And that combat goes on. They end up taking down a couple more spears, start doing some gang up, 2-on-1 kind of things. And then the combat's over, and they have 2 of the bandits that were not killed. They're just knocked unconscious. Because in Pendragon, when you reach a certain number of hit points, like 1/4 of your total hit points, you become unconscious. When you go to 0 below, you're dying, right? So bandit shows them the way. Again, they get there, they hear the voice. They go inside. Actually, there were 2 who didn't want to go inside. So it took some convincing with trait versus trait. And even passion, somebody invoked honor against the knight to get him to come in and rolling through that opposed roll stuff. They got everybody in. Closed the table, the 6 chairs. One guy went and just sat right down, had no problem. Nobody else was willing to do it. But eventually they convinced everybody to sit down. And one of the knights, before they sat down, was searching around and looking at the table and saw there were these potions at a little shelf at each table. And the guy who was sitting down saw that, or heard that, goes, really? Reaches down, pulls it out, drinks it down. So, okay, you can see the doorway is open. Nobody else can. And eventually we convince everybody to sit down. And once they sit down, they hear the voice about taking the potion. And so they take the potion, and there's the race up the stairs, and they get to the top. There's the competition on who's going to be the chase one to kiss the princess. And again, somebody does, and she wakes up. Quick, we have to run. They go down, they come out. And again, the knights. This time I had the evil knights just with their sword out. Because their sword skill is 19. Their lance skill was like 11. Yes, sword skill 19. They're mounted against dismounted. That gives them +5. So their skill, their target number is 24. And so when you get over 20, you take that number that's over 20, and you subtract it from the die, because you can't roll higher than a 20, right? And anything that, and all criticals are considered the same number. So if you're both criticals, it's a tie, that kind of thing, because that happened a couple of times. But now that they've got 24, if they roll a 16 or higher, those are all 20s. Those are all criticals. And so there were a handful of crits thrown out during the game. I know at least 3 knights went down. So the squires came, grab their bodies, and drag them out behind the tower, keep them safe, and do some first aid on them. But some of the knights, there were 2 knights that stayed back from the fighting. The rest went forward. And the 2 that were staying back were trying to protect the girl, and at the entrance of the tower where she was. But some of the evil knights do some double 2-on-1, and they start circling around. So some come around this way, and they have 18 minutes. I'll do a 2-parter. And so they start trying to do a 2-on-1 with the evil knights as well. These 2 guys, right? And there's some maneuver going around, and eventually they take the last few evil knights out. They may have impassioned. I know one guy was holding off until the end, and he's like, okay, we need to do impassion. And they do the impassion, because if you fail your impassion, you're at a negative. And somebody did that. Somebody failed their passion roll and had a negative, so they were just not hitting anything. And so once they got the last of the knights down, they turn around, and the tower is gone, and the lady is gone, and there's their fellow knights and the squires, so they gather up and take them home. Really, really good session. Had a lot of fun with that one. And with that, happy gaming.